everyone, welcome back to my channel. I have always been deeply inspired by the mythology and fairy tales, those whimsical, dreamlike worlds that feel both magical and timeless. And Sleeping Beauty is one of the themes that has always inspired me and sparked my imagination to paint. There is something so poetic about the moment when the muse falls asleep, the quietness, the softness, the beauty is resting in stillness. It feels like an endless sort of inspiration to me. Actually, about 2 years ago, I already created an illustration inspired by Sleeping Beauty, but at that time, my skills were quite limited. So, after 2 years of learning and practicing, I decided to revisit the theme and create another version of Sleeping Beauty, but this time without the rings. I'm looking at many beautiful Sleeping Beauty paintings created by the old master. I absolutely adore the way they depict their subjects, the tenderness, the poetry, and especially the way they seem to put a soul into the work. There is always a quiet emotional depth that I find incredibly inspiring. So I gathered some of my favorite pieces and created this mood board. This work became the visual atmosphere and emotional references that guided me while creating my own interpretation. Because I love those words so much, I decided to make a master copy of one of Sleeping Beauty painting I truly admire. This is the Sleeping Beauty by John Collier. I didn't only want to copy it because I love it so much, but also because I wanted to study something very specific, the way he painted the hair. The hair in this painting is just extraordinary. The shining golden color, the softness, the flow, it feels both luxurious and natural at the same time. I created this study on a small panel, focusing mainly on the upper part of the figure, her resting pose, and especially that beautiful hair. To be honest, I actually started this painting a few months ago, and then like many other paintings I put it aside for a while. The most challenging part of the study wasn't the hair. Surprisingly, it was the face. The angle of the face in profile was extremely difficult for me. I struggled with it a lot, and I had to repaint and adjust it many times. The hair was the part I enjoyed the most. It was incredibly satisfying to paint. I see the hair color in the original painting as a slightly cool lemon yellow tone, leaning a little toward green rather than orange. So for my mixture, I mainly used yellow lake, then added some ultramarine blue and a bit of burnt sienna for the shadow areas. For the highlight, I used nickel titanium yellow, which is a very soft, cool pale yellow. I applied several layers to slowly build up that luminous, glowing effect. At the same time, I tried very hard not to fall into the trap of over-detailing the hair. Instead of painting every strand, I focused on painting the last shape and volume. That way, the hair still looked thick, flowing, and structured instead of thin and messy from too many small details. After the study, I finally started working on my own version. First, I toned the canvas with a very thin layer of burnt sienna. For some reason, I always struggle with the angle of the face when the figure is lying down. I don't know why, but I tend to draw the angle incorrectly, and the figure doesn't look like she's actually lying. I didn't only make 2 attempts. Actually, I adjusted the painting many times back and forth. And honestly, I became super frustrated at this stage. Well, that's part of the process. Whenever I reach that point, the best solution for me is always very simple: get a good night's sleep and then start fresh the next day. You really cannot paint well when you are in a bad mood. The most difficult area was definitely the chin and the neck. I feel like this area determines the whole angle of the head. If I paint it wrong, the figure immediately looks strange. This part probably took the longest time in the entire painting. So many times I have to slow myself down and keep reminding myself, be patient, be patient. Now let me show you my favorite color for hair. It's brown pink. It's a transparent color that creates a very beautiful deep reddish tone. I feel it produces that classic effect that I love, especially when I want to paint the iconic Pre Raphaelite red hair. I like to apply it over the base layer because since it's transparent, you can still see the underpainting underneath while the surface gains rich red glow. After that, I use maple yellow to paint the highlight and bring light to the hair. At this stage, I left the painting aside for a little while to let it dry. Today was such a beautiful sunny day, so I decided to take the opportunity to varnish some of my
in
previous
the
paintings.
dark,
I always love this day so much. When you apply the
far
varnish,
from the
all the
heart,
colors become rich and saturated again. It
far
feels like the
from
painting is
the
waking
start.
up. It's such a satisfying moment.
In a storm, I lost my sails, I lost all direction, got caught in the veil. I didn't know love till you found me. I didn't know love, lost in the sea. I didn't know love.
I came back to the painting actually 2 weeks later because I went back to my hometown for a long holiday. When I returned, I noticed that some areas of the painting had dried unevenly. Some part has become matte because the oil was absorbed into the canvas. So before continuing, I apply a very small amount of retouch varnish to revive the color. This helps to restore the saturation of the paint layers and create a more even surface so you can continue painting accurately. Usually, artists use a very thin layer of painting medium or retouch varnish, gently wipe across the surface. It's important to keep it very thin, just enough to bring back the color, not to create a thick varnish layer. So once the color look even again, it becomes much easier to continue working on. To be honest, I procrastinated quite a lot during the final stage, maybe because I had just come back from a long holiday and it was a bit hard to get back on track into working mode, but also there's always a fear of ruining the painting. I'm not sure if other artists feel the same way, but for me, the final stage is always the most delayed part. I found that the final stage is actually the most enjoyable part, adding decoration, fine details, highlight, but at the same time, it always feels a bit scary at this stage because one wrong choice, a background that doesn't work, too much decoration or over highlighting can ruin everything you built before. I really don't like the background very much. It didn't turn out the way I imagined. But at that point, I told myself that I needed to let go a little more and not become too nervous about every brushstroke. So instead of constantly fixing and adjusting, I just tried to keep the stage very simple. To be honest, I'm not totally happy with it right now, but I believe if I come back 1 week later with fresh eyes, I'll probably like it much more. That's happened almost every time.